Hello and welcome to Kernel Convos with Manini. And today I bring you the also gorgeous Di Makato Wacho Machingaifa. It's an inside joke, sorry. I mentioned her surname before. Anyway, so today I bring you an episode of Sisterhood, friendship, and why I think it's important that we have a circle of friends that will support us, that will bring joy, and that will be of importance in our lives. And I hope you enjoy it. So what does sisterhood mean to me? I come from a family of it's just the two of us, my brother and myself. And growing up, I've always wanted sisters in friends, right? And it was a bit hard to get there. And I eventually met a few of some amazing women, and she is one of them. And she's here to tell you guys about our friendships and our friendship, wow. And we're just here to engage and to find out where it comes from. And we're really hoping that you guys can learn from it to try and grow your sisterhood circles and your friendships. Hello. Why are you so shy? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Do you want to reintroduce yourself in case I missed?
Oh, this time you got it right. Yes.
Okay, so because I think you tell the story better, please share how we met briefly.
Okay, so we met in February 2016. So it was at home in Durban. It was a Saturday morning, I remember. So that Saturday morning, Manini and a few other guys had driven from Johannesburg. So they drove from Johannesburg the night before, the Friday evening, and they arrived around 5-6 a.m. that morning. So I knew the other guys, but I didn't know Manini. So when they arrived there, all I hear is like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because it was an apartment, so it was a bit loud and it was too early. So I'm like, who is this making this noise? 5 a.m. So I ran down to the parking, because my mom is also getting a bit annoyed and I'm also annoyed, and I'm like, what's going on? All I see is this girl with a bantu knots, and I'm like, yo, Sam.
They were annoyed. And look at us now.
Could you please keep it down? Because there are people who are sleeping and your laugh is quite loud.
She actually said that, guys. And
so yeah, so that was the day we met. It was on a Sabbath, that February. And then after that was the day you were joining the group that we were singing in. So after that, we would meet at practice, which she never attended, and performances. That's how we actually, but we grew our friendship mostly outside of that. But yeah, that's how we got to know each other and spent more time together.
The shade, guys, there's shade in this friendship also, but it's okay. It's okay, I'm used to it. All right, so I think she shares that way better than I do. And also because, I can't say negative stuff about myself. Anyway, so we're going to answer questions. I'm going to read the question out, then you're going to answer it, and then I'm going to answer it. So you answer about me, I answer about you.
Okay.
And let's be as real as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I love you, Ne. Just so you know.
Because I'm a sensitive person, you need to tell me this.
Because we have to be real.
That's fine. That's why we're here.
I love you. So okay. Just don't forget that. Okay.
Ooh, okay, it's about to get real. Okay, so question number 1. What are the 3 things you like and don't like about me? 3 things you like and 3 things you don't like about me.
Okay.
I'm shaking, guys.
3 things. I change it to say 3 things that I love about you. 3 things that I love about you is that, firstly, you are not the type of woman to bring another down. So as much as you are now doing all these amazing things and going up, what you want to see is other women going up as well, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, what I love about you is that you... okay, I think I'll move that to things I don't like about you. Because there's a very thin line. Funny enough, there's a very thin line. Okay, so let me mention it, is your humility. Right? So like I said, you're doing all these amazing things, and I think what makes you want to see other people succeed as well is your humility. You don't see yourself as better than other people. And as much as, I was once here and I would like other people to also be where I am, to also elevate, you know. Third thing that I love about you is your heart. You have a beautiful heart, as beautiful as your outside, right? It is so genuine. It's extremely genuine, and I know that because of the things that we've been through, the times where we've cried together, the times where we've prayed together, that we've loved together, and I could feel that connection, that sisterhood connection. Now, moving on to things I don't like about you. Okay. Firstly, the humility thing that I was talking about, the reason why I wanted to move it to that is that I sometimes think you don't see yourself. I don't think that you see how beautiful, talented, smart you are. And I've told you so many times about this, that Manini, stop it. Like, you're too, in a way, too self-conscious, to the point where you don't want to do certain things. You don't want to, sometimes you hold back on living because you're thinking, maybe I'm not okay here, I'm not doing enough, I'm not enough to do certain things. So that's one thing I'd say I don't like about you. Second thing, which is a bit light, you're very clumsy, my friend. You're very clumsy. You're very clumsy. I don't know how many times you've dropped things. How many times, like, your father even had to pray over your hands. That's how clumsy you are. These butter hands. I always worry when you carry something of value, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's about to drop this. So yeah, that's the other thing. Number 3 is that which is something that I also have, so it's pretty funny. I think that's a similarity we have. Wuti, you're quick to take things personally. So if you're quick to take things personally, you know, if someone says something to you, even if it's not to say you're a bad person, I think sometimes you're very quick to say, oops,
and just get back into my...
Exactly. And then you just get back into your shell. Now a person has been, no, that is not what I meant. Come out of your shell. Yes, I know it's not what you want, but I also understand it, because I'm like that as well. Where a person wants to say something to you, whether it's to correct you or whether it's to say, you could do this better. And then you take it as if someone is saying you're bad at something, or you're not good at something, which is, yeah. So I think those are the 3 things. Yes.
Okay. Phew, all right. So she's right, like there's similarities, because I'm going to mention a few things that are almost the same. So 3 things I love. So we changed the like to love. 3 things I love about you. 1, right? So it's funny. It's going to feel like you're listening to the same person, but yeah. Number 1, how you always put people first. It's crazy. Not that you'd rather suffer that someone else is happy. I just can't find a better word for suffer, because suffer doesn't sound nice. But you want to see someone grow and someone be happy, and you're just behind them and getting them into that phase. You want to see them happy, and then you're okay. So it's not like, okay, I want to be happy first. No, I'm going to be happy first. Then. So you do have your strictness. Like, we don't play that game. But your greatest, I can say it's, I don't want to call it humility, but yeah, I'll find a word. But you put people first. And that is very attractive. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful characteristic to have. Number 2, what I love about you is how she cries. Udima, guys, like I love it. I know it's like uyatefa, but yazwenza utefela bantu. Like when her comforting spirit, that's what it is. Yes, she'll be there and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, but she's crying with you. And it feels so good. It feels so good knowing the person that I am, you know. So we share that same thing, which she feels with you. As deep as your hurt, she's in there now, in the pits. And that is what I appreciate also about you. I love it. Number 3, you're just beautiful. You're so beautiful. I love your face. I tell her all the time. I love your voice. She can sing, just by the way. I love your eyes. I love your body. I love her flat stomach that some of us have to work for, literally day and night. And the inverse of this last point also, things I don't like about herself, is how she cannot accept her beauty. Dimakato and I have to sit in a lecture of 1 hour for me to tell her just how beautiful she is, I literally have to break it down to talk about her eyes first, and then her hair. We did this 2 days ago. Her hair, I had to mention, Sisi, people have problems with the hairline, and look at your hair. That's how small I had to micro. Literally. And then I asked her, Guti, yes, some products to have flat stomach. And here you are complaining, yet you're so beautiful. So the number one thing that I dislike about her is how it's so difficult for her to accept who she is, and how easy it is for her to think that she's like, that other people are better than her. That's the one thing I dislike. Number 2, just like me, I dislike how not sensitive, but how when something is mentioned to you to fix something, you take it in another way. So can I mention the example of...
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready. Yes.
Okay, so some 3 or 4 days ago, Dima had a rash and some redness going on in her cheek, and both her husband and I, realized that, and we're like, oh, you have like stuff on your face, So we started talking about, what have you been using? So the husband realized, it was, hey man, you've changed a certain product and you started using it, and it's acidic, yeah, that's the word, acidic, and now it's created reds on your face. Ne? My friend was defensive from the second. No, it's not that. What did you say?
Because I didn't think it was that. Because I'd been using it for a while and it didn't do anything to my
she said,
skin.
You said dry skin. You said, it's just dry skin. Then she took off her eyeglasses. I remember. It's just dry skin. So you're like, no, we understand that, but we can see, So it was that debate, man. Oh, she just started crying. And what we were not saying, or rather, both of us, her husband and I, were not saying, no, umubi. That's not what we were saying. We're not saying your skin is ugly, but because she has a background of skin problems or accepting her skin, self-esteem, she took it in a negative way. So that's what I don't like about you. That was number 2, right? Mm-hmm. Number 3. Dima is very quick to disconnect. Very quick to disconnect. I can't give an example, but because she doesn't want to be part of a. So if she feels like she's small in the issue, if she feels like it's too much pressure, she disconnects, and I have to call it back, right? Pressure, yeah. So the pressure. So those are the 3 things that I don't like about you, but I love you. I love you too. Okay, so second question is, what's the one thing you'd like to ask me? Ooh.
I think you can start this time.
Me?
Yeah.
What's the one thing I'd like to ask you? Whew. What do I want to ask you? Oh, yes. So most of my friends are introverts. And I've heard this from them quite a lot, Uguti. It seems like as an extrovert, I have a lot of friends. And when we get to a place, so you know a lot of people, you'll say no. That's what
Okay.
people that know a lot of people,
I'll
except
say
me.
okay.
So people have a problem, or a circle of, well, my friends did not that it's a problem, but they say when we're at a place, like me stop sign, I just hello, and then they're just standing there. And so what I wanted to ask you is, do you feel that you don't have an important, I think it's a stupid question, maybe I know the answer, but do you feel that you don't have a department or an important space in my life as a friend? Do you ever feel threatened, rather? That's the question.
I won't lie and say I flat out don't feel threatened. What I do know is you're not as open with everyone as you would with your very close circle. That's what I know. So, like, if there was a church event and people were coming and greeting, and you were going to greet people like you always do,
They were going to go to her first. Let's just flat. That is the truth.
so in cases like that, I'm not threatened. I don't feel jealous that people are greeting her or it's just a thing of, oh, okay, they know each other, you know. So I can also now having because I always say, hey, nangu mngani wakho, nangu mngani wakho. So I do that a lot, you know. And she once, and she does hate it, because she once sat me down and explained, see, listen, I don't have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of acquaintances, but not friends, you know. So after that, I think it's a thing that, okay, I was able to differentiate. Okay, lababazana, okay, these ones, they're friends, kind of thing, because you're also very different with friends and acquaintances, you know. So I'd say that I now, at this point, I don't feel as if I don't have I know I have a very special place in your heart. There's no denying that. There's no denying that. I think you've made it clear. You've made it clear.
Yeah. And I asked that question because I'm a very jealous friend. Believe it or not, I'm a very jealous friend. I've been possessive, but not anymore. I'm learning how not to. And it's like that, like across in my life. It's just that I'm very, this is mine, you know. So I just wanted to find out, you know, good see. Okay, so with you, what's the one thing you'd like to ask me?
What I would like to ask you is, what I'd like to ask you is, how are you doing?
Oh, that's cute. I'm okay.
I mean, okay, you've done like 3 episodes of Colonel Convos where people have started to sort of, you were letting people in on briefly on what you've been through and how that has gotten you through a healing journey that you're still going through, I'm assuming. So just an update, a current update of how are you doing?
She's taking over Colonel Convos, guys.
I could never.
You know, okay, I'm okay. I'm not 100% fine, but day by day, I think what encourages me the most is getting voice notes back.
Okay.
Getting DMs, inboxes, and people trying to contact me. Yes, some of them are finding out how I am, you know, my close circle, the people in this room. Guys, by the way, there are people in this room. You know, but there are people who tell me their stories, tell me, you know, what they've been going through. So how they relate to my story. And whether it's losing a friend, losing a boyfriend, being cheated on, losing a child, an unborn baby, you know, forgiveness, or whatever the topics that I've touched on. But what's beautiful is in them relating their stories, they're also trying to find out how I'm doing. So some of them have been trying to tell me how to go through the healing process, and it won't necessarily work out for me how it worked out for them, or how it's working out for them. But I think what I appreciate the most is how people are opening up. And you know, you go through something and you think you're the only one who's going through something, and you're just in the pits. But what is happening now is exactly why I started this. It wasn't about me. And I'm just going to mention, I don't know if this is going to be cut out or not, but there's a comment on the previous video that I posted, and a certain woman said to me, oh, so is this why you started a channel because a guy broke your heart? And then she's like, oh, okay. Anyway, you said nothing in the previous videos. Your story is blunt, knowing the other side of the story. So I was like, okay. Sent producer a screenshot. Producer was like, ignore, that could have treated me in another way had I been Manini 6 months ago.
Definitely.
Yeah. I would have. It was gonna be, but I was.
You were not going to ask the producer.
No, I was going to go at it, but I was like, oh, finally I get a negative comment, and I'm just happy because people are receiving it because, how it was intended to happen, the purpose of it, to get people in their fields and getting to think. So I'm okay. I'm okay for now. I hope for the rest of my life I'll be okay.
That was for you guys.
Right, that was for you. I'm okay. That was a nice question. Okay, and the next one is, how have we resolved conflict between us?
That's a tough one, because how we resolve it is a bit weird. So I come from a family where I avoided confrontation a lot, where things will just solve themselves. We'll pick up from where it goes. Yeah. So luckily, I don't think we've had conflict to the extent where we sort of had to listen, kind of thing. If there was anything, we would mention it there at that time, something light, then it would be resolved right there and then. So I think how we've resolved conflict is that we understand each other a lot. We know how to bring up certain issues, what to say, because we know how exactly, because we're both extremely sensitive. So we're also very careful of how we bring things up, because the same way you wouldn't like anyone to just bring up something anyhow and hurt you, is the same way you also approach it, especially with each other, because I know I can receive that from Umanin. She won't just say Dimang Joylaga, kind of thing, and I also girl, you would not. You won't. I know you won't. So I also wouldn't do that to Manini, because I know that she respects me that much. So that there's that mutual respect. So how we've resolved conflict is that we've tried to keep it to a minimum. But what I like is that in us keeping it to a minimum, it's not that we're fake. We're real, but we just know our boundaries. But we just know our boundaries. But where there has been conflict, we would speak of it swiftly. Here and there, get to the point, solve it, and that's it.
And maybe we haven't had that much of a deep argument,
and we don't have to. That's the thing. A lot of people are gonna think, no, in order to have the true friendship, you have to go through the rough, and you don't. You honestly don't. If you know your friend, if you respect your friend, you know what they like and what they don't like. Respect their boundaries, and you will know, la, I don't go here. Maybe let's test the waters. If it goes wrong, you solve it. If it goes well, happy days.
And we're both very opinionated people, very opinionated. But what we do is we listen, she listens, and then if we don't agree, cool. It doesn't have to be, one nice story, right? Okay, so how has our relationship changed now that she married? Just by the way, if you're watching and you thought maybe you're going to ask for a number or email address or DM, it's not going, guys. Sorry.
Mrs. Wacho. Sorry, guys.
And if you're used to the ones that don't care that they are misses and they still go, not here.
No.
Yeah.
Then I'll tell you
Nazo. Okay, so how has our relationship changed now that she's married? Phew. You know, the funny part is, abantu abadala, right, believe that married people shouldn't have unmarried friends and vice versa. Not here. And I don't want it to be like, Nati, we don't listen to our elders, but it's just worked out pretty well.
Actually, we've gotten closer.
We've gotten closer, and I've got her husband to thank. I'm not sure what happens in other marriages, but with this specific one, Dima's husband is accommodate the right word? Has welcomed me into the family.
Okay.
Can I say it that way? Yeah. Hey guys, I don't know. Can I tell you? Like, this woman is blessed. Can I please tell you? On Women's Day, I don't know what y'all were doing, but on Women's Day, I was taken out to a restaurant for breakfast, and I got a bunch of flowers from my friend's husband. We went together. So I don't know if I can say, there's nothing to say after that. I mean, yeah.
For me, our friendship has worked because, okay, firstly, I don't have friends. Firstly, let's just start there. My sister always shouts at me for not having friends. So before my Nini and I actually got like close, my only friend was my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. My sister would shout at me like, dude, you need to make friends. Like, you need friends. Stop it. Get some friends and do stuff with friends. So it so happened my Nini and I got close at the time, because at the same time, you don't just want to make friends with anyone. No, you don't want to do that, because that could be potential damage to your marriage. So with Umanini, it helped me so much because firstly, she has a good head on her shoulders. That's the saying, right? That is the saying.
Not that much.
So she's got she's sharp, she's smart. Here as well, she's got a good heart. So she's not the kind who's gonna give you selfish advice at the same time. She's not the kind Umanini gives you advice like umuntu shatile. That's the other thing. It's as if she understands marriage life and she would give you advice that will be beneficial if need be. Yeah, well, so for me, it has actually grown out. We've actually gotten closer after Rifi and I got married. Yeah, because and as much as our parents say don't be friends with single people, also having people who are married does not always work, you know. Once you're married doesn't mean that every married person is going to be a good friend to you. It does not happen that way. All you just need to do is to find a good friend. Find a good friend who understands that you're a married woman, who again knows the boundaries. Okay, I can't now do the things that we used to do with out of the blue. Dima, let's go. You know, we're gonna come back at midnight. We can't do that. We can't do that anymore.
To consult.
You know, not exactly consult, but at least inform. At least inform the other person who would say, okay, can Dima and I, is it okay? We're gonna go out. We're probably gonna come back round about this time if it's cool, so that, you know. Because the other thing is that we embrace individuality. We embrace individuality in our marriage. In as much as we are one, but we're also our own people. Yeah. He has his friends, I have my friends. And at times you do need time away just to be with your friends. Come back and I swear it's going to be so much nicer in marriage. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for context purposes, this is for my producer, in case he shouts at me after this. The reason why I mentioned Women's Day and flowers and breakfast is because I wanted to get to the point that so she said it's good to have a friend who understands your marriage. Yeah. I say it's also good to have a husband who understands that friends are important, but not just any friends, like Dima said. Friends that bring growth and understanding and all of those things. So our friendship didn't change much. What did change is it became stronger. Yeah. It became really strong, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Okay, I don't know. You can say something to close it off, maybe before I say something. Do you want to say anything to our ladies? people who were like me, who never grew up with sisters, but I had a mother that I made my friend, or she rather made me her friend. What would you say to everyone who's watching this, who doesn't have a support system or who does?
Welcome to Colonel Convos with Dimakatso. I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay, so my thoughts on friendship and sisterhood is that it's extremely important to find yourself a female friend or a sister that you can talk to, a sister that will be part of your support system. Whether you do not have a sister, or you do have a sister and you might not get along, or you do have a sister and there's certain things that you cannot talk to them about. For me, I was lucky to have an amazing sister that I can do and talk to about anything, as well as choose friends who will become part of my sisterhood.
What sisterhood and friendship is to me might not be what it is for you or to you. I brought you an amazing friend of mine whom I felt would give you the exact story of how our friendship came about and the experience that we have. So for me, in my background, is that I do not have sisters. I have cousin sisters, but it's never been the same. So I took friendships and I made them sisterhoods. I made them sisters of mine. And it's never worked out all the time, but I am so grateful to God that I finally met sisters that really bring about the best in me. And hearing, my friends tell me what they perceive of me and the type of person I am, because you'll never know really what type of person you are unless people tell you, through their lens of having you in their lives. And I hope that in your circles, be it at work, be it at home, at church, wherever you spend most of your time with, that you give as much energy and love and support to your girlfriends or your friends in general, in as much as they would give into you. And there's this whole notion of, love yourself and don't care about others, or whatever it may be. However you may find your feet in someone's life, I really hope that it brings to you support, it brings love, it brings joy and fun, because it is an amazing journey to have friends that laugh with you as much as they cry with you. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed it. See you next time.